Last month, Cthulhu came in with his brilliance. Oh, dear Cthulhu. It came upon a time of questions and answers, and it came up to be a very sincere and real and genuine question that came up. A question that brought so much energy for all of you, and such a wave of realism and trauma that it actually threw Cauldre and probably Cthulhu off. Had some of you laughing at a time where perhaps laughter wasn't deserved, but it doesn't matter. Had some of you very confused and out of your body. You didn't even hear the question. We'll repeat it in a moment. But you didn't hear it because it was far too poignant and too real. Doesn't matter. We're going to read it again. Had some of you so angry. You know, sometimes absolutely we love to see you angry. Saint Germain provokes your anger because you get complacent. You get so complacent at times that he likes to come and prod you and poke you and get you so angry at him. And then you know what happens? Later we all, including you, we all have a good laugh. Say, you know what? It doesn't matter. It was the experience. But I did want to, I've been asked by Cauldre to address this question again. So you heard it a month ago, most of you. You're going to hear it now, but in one short month since this was asked, I want you to hear the difference both in the question and the feeling behind it. And I want you to perceive your wisdom, your absolute wisdom in the answer. Because, you see, you already know. You already know. Yes, it doesn't matter. You already know. But you also know what this person, because they write on behalf of so many, you already know what they're going through. You already know the despair that they're in. You already know that they are in their winter of despair. They can't see the spring of hope. You know that before them there is nothing. You know that they go not directly into ascension, but they experience what it is like to be forever lost. You know that feeling. You know the absolute conflict. So please do read the question again.
Dear Tobias, how dare you tell us we're just playing games as if you have nothing to do with the games we're playing? You said last month, there's something inside of you that's choosing it and picking it and making it a reality. You told us many times that all we have to do is make a clear, conscious choice in the now moment and we'll create our reality. That is a game. We chose to let go of our old beliefs that are no longer serving us. So what is the something that is inside of us? Since we seem to have no control over it, and it somehow has the power to create our reality without our consent, I'll call it our soul self. The game is that we choose to adopt the new belief that we choose our reality, but it's our soul self that gets to make the official choice and thus create our reality. Our soul self is obviously choosing to create from our old beliefs that we have let go. Saint Germain said that to finalize our ascension process and go to our third circle is only a choice. I made that choice over a year ago, and now I can see why I am truly not the creator of my reality. Yes, I'm tired of this game, and I wish I could go back 8 years and forget everything you've told us. I will, however, let go of these new beliefs and allow my reality to be whatever it is. If there is a third circle, there is no choice to get there. That explains why we've been stuck in this ascension process for over 2,000 years. We're creating our own reality, but for the consciousness part of ourselves, it's from something inside, and we have no choice. Tobias, do you really not understand our frustration?
Indeed. And you know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I mean, it absolutely doesn't. Now, with all due respect and great love, oh, you know, when I say that, you know something's coming. There's a game, absolute game, and it's a wonderful game, and it doesn't matter. But the game is, I'm going to separate myself from my soul. I'm going to put my soul off somewhere else, and I'm going to allow it to have the, what you would call the power. I'm going to let it be the creator. And I'm going to play the game of being the little human. I'm going to make demands of God and Tobias and Saint Germain and of my soul. But I'm going to play the game that nobody's listening. I'm going to play the game that I am the puppet at the end of the strings being managed by the puppeteer. And it's a brilliant game. It's a beautiful game, actually, because it allows you to see what it's like to feel that you do have no choice, that you are not the sovereign being, that you do not have dominion over your own creations. Very much like the story of Saint Germain or Tobias or Katumi, all stuck in our different types of prisons. What a wonderful game that was, to allow us ourselves to get stuck, to pretend that we had no say over our reality, to turn that reality and that consciousness over to other humans and governments and gods and who else knows what. We all played the game. We know what it was like to feel trapped until one day we said, it doesn't matter. Until one day Saint Germain said, hold on a second. I've been in this crystal for 100,000 years. Kind of stupid, a little slow, actually. Saint Germain actually took that short bus to Ascension. But, dear ones, it finally dawned on him after trying to break his way out and after trying to anger his way out. He finally said, it doesn't matter. I got myself in here. I get myself out. He's not playing the game of separation between his human self and his soul self. And for all of you right now, I encourage you to stop playing the game that you've got this soul that's off somewhere else that has all the answers. It is you. You know what the definition of divinity is? You, in the now moment, experiencing your creations. It's not this grand angel that exists off somewhere else unless you put it there. It's not this complex state of perfection that exists in some far-off dimension until you are worthy to receive it, unless you put it there. Actually, the divine is you in this moment. Part of you doesn't want to accept that because you want the divine to be grand. It is not. It is not. That's an illusion. Your divine is simple. Your divine is so elegantly simple. How could it be grand? How could it be big or complex? How can it be greater than you? Divinity is the most simply amazing part of yourself. And it's there. It's part of you. It's not just inside of you. It's not hovering around you. It is you. And it's there for you to feel and experience anytime you want. The one who asked this question has gone through tremendous anger, tremendous feeling of being a victim, playing a tremendous game of, I am not in control, and damn it, I don't want to be. The one who asked the question is playing the game. So are many other Shambra, because I know what it's like. I know how you can relate to this question, how you can have compassion for it, because you felt it also. You can play the game as long as you want it to be the game. I encourage you to do this. Ask yourself, what do I give up if I stop playing the game? What do I have to give up? For those who play the game of being the victim, that their soul and God exists somewhere else, you give up this thing called weakness, blaming it on somebody else, feeling that you don't have control. And that's actually a very interesting thing to experience. Suddenly, when you give up that game, you have to truly take the responsibility for your choices. So many of you are in conflict with your soul, and your soul in conflict with you. You've set up this game. Oh, indeed, the soul ultimately cannot be tarnished. It cannot be destroyed or twisted. It cannot be polluted. But you can play the game that it can be. You can play the game that it will turn its back on you because you want it to. You can play the game that the chasm between you and your soul and your divinity is so grand and so vast that you will never reach it. You can play that. You can play the game that I made a choice and it didn't work out. Well, of course it didn't work out, because you don't want it to work out. You can play the game that says, I'm going to exit, I'm going to leave, but you really don't want to leave. You see, take a look at the contradictions you set up for yourselves. Take a look at the experience that you've set up yourself. You can blame others, you can blame us, but until you realize you got yourself into this, you created it, now you and only you can uncreate it. I, Tobias, do not have a key. Katumi does not know the secret password to your illusions. And Saint Germain doesn't know a single mystery that's going to get you out of your mystery, out of your illusion. Only you. And when you can take a deep breath, when you can say, oh, it doesn't matter anymore, I'm just going to let myself out. I'm going to uncreate what I created. Then, dear ones, you have enlightenment. When you can say this thing called divinity, that I am, the God of self, is not some far-off, illustrious creature living in some other grand dimension while I suffer down here. When you realize divinity is simplicity, so simple, it's unfathomable by the human mind as you know it right now. It can only be felt. It can only be experienced. Such simplicity that you stop playing the game of complexity. Such brilliant clarity that you stop trying to figure it out and you just live it. This is indeed the best of times. And it is indeed the worst of times. And it doesn't matter. And so it is.